Hey, just updating because I didn't manage to do the live last night, and I found myself going to press play and I couldn't, and then I found myself trying to put a post instead and I couldn't. So here's a candid share, which obviously is more important, because last closed Zoom we explored many things, one of which was responsibility, and I spoke about how tiring it is to repress our empowerment, and I likened it to when I first started to explore psychology in the more official studious form and entered into my own personal therapy at the same time. And there was a point that I started to sleep a lot, up to 12 hours and a day, and what I realised was there was a conflict within, because the internal battle was taking place regarding allowing and shutting down the truth, my truth. And the truth sets you free. And over time, the energy wasn't as much of a problem, because I started to trust myself slowly in channeling my truth into creative spaces where I can hold sacredness for others as well as myself. And in the group Zoom last week, we spoke about manifestation, but also therapy. And could therapy limit the manifestation? As in, does talking about the past repetitively actually benefit growth? And that's when we touched on the aspects of embodiment. And I wonder if the difference in effective therapy and effective and something that is non-conducive is the relationship between client and counsellor, therapist, mentor, coach, and the readiness of the person on both sides. Because what I mean by readiness is the ability to be transparent despite having to put boundaries in place. And what I mean about boundaries is framework. And so what I understand about how I use myself and the way I integrate psychic and psychotherapy is the psychic work interrupts the nervous system quite abruptly. And this could be quite risky when a client is processing trauma. But if that psychic insight is invited and channeled at a time of deep trust, i.e. it comes in stages when the client has when the therapist has earned that trust. And I need to go a bit deeper than this, and I feel like I really need to get personal here. I spoke about transparency, and this is what I mean is clients will pick up, you will pick up if somebody is not present fully in the room. And that's where trust is severed. And the only reason why someone might not be present is because the material that's being presented consciously and subconsciously is almost too much. So I like to think that the pain I've gone through in my life has helped me to withstand pain, so that I'm locked in. And because I'm locked in, there's a safety there where psychic can be met. And it's very important to own your pain, but it's equally important not to wear it as a badge of honour. And in my life, I may have inadvertently wore it as wear my pain as a badge of honour. I don't talk about it a lot, but on some level there must be a belief installed that I can't fully bring certain parts out. And I need to, again, there's a little bit of a struggle here bringing this out in this video, because I'm going to talk about source, I'm going to talk about God, I'm going to talk about the universe. I spoke about a lifeguard, that a real story of a lifeguard falling asleep while on the job at the poolside, and how he was demoted for said act of not being fully present. And although I'm locked in, I guess a part of me has disengaged with the pool party in terms of clocking out when it comes to fully embracing life. Like, I think that I work for the work, but I'd close the door sometimes experiencing joy. And if you've got this far in the video, thank you very much, because I realise it's a long video and I do talk incredibly slow. But I feel like Spirit, when I work through Spirit, they really, it's really to sort of hone in and some of these things take time. Healing takes time. And this is the most important thing about being present, because I say about programming the nervous system to slow down, to realise that every action matters, that within the self, every little thing we do, every tiny little thing makes a difference. So when going about the day, train the nervous system to pause regularly, and to really be in every task. Julie, or space, or again, I'm getting here now. But when a child tries to speak their truth, sometimes it's very, very hard. And the parent needs to be very patient and not abandon the child when the words cannot be found. It's like, we're going to stay here until you find those words. There's no rush. And this is what we have to do with our inner child. We have to give her or him time to speak, because they're trying. They're trying to find the words, and it's incredibly hard. And what will happen is the child will lash out and project anger in order to mask the very thing that they're trying to say. And this can go with, with the question, do you love me? Am I okay? Am I enough? Have I done wrong? All this, do you accept me? This is what the child wants to ask to your parent. They need reassurance so that they can fully go out and play. They've got permission to play. And when I was growing up, I often speak about a religious movement. I was born into a movement that was called the Children of God. Some may know this as Family International. And the God we were shown to worship was not the God that was all unconditional. Because this God had conditions. And I speak a lot about faith, because I innately believe that we have destiny. And there are many experiences as a child where I met that destiny, and I could had various prophetic experiences with higher self and source that would show me that there were things written in the stars for me. Amazing things. But what I've found difficult is to allow support. Because being an older sister from a family of 6 is that I made it about me in terms of protecting, being the protector. But the one person who wasn't protected was me. And I took the responsibility of my parents, who were incapable of removing us from dangerous situations because they were wounded children themselves. And where do I want to go on this? How do I want to end this video? I guess it's to talk about time and how things take time. I wrote some notes on a film called Good Will Hunting, and it's the most powerful scene in cinema history. I mean, the talks of a guy who was a self-taught mathematician and played it small. And he played it small by being a janitor. A very angry janitor who pushed everyone away. And I guess his prize was that he was intellectually intelligent. He had a certain superiority around him, despite the fact he worked as a janitor, because he could intellectualize that things weren't his fault. He was so smart. He understood attachment theory. He understood the psychology of the abuse. His conscious mind had processed it, but his subconscious didn't. So he kept pushing away opportunities, pushing away and destroying love. Because your subconscious is built on belief. And so just touching on that, as you can tell, this is part 2. By the way, I've put a little bit of makeup on and had a break. It's amazing what a little bit of makeup can do. And I just want to touch on the playing small. And you notice the character in the film is so angry, and yet it was himself that was oppressing himself. So it was very hard for him to accept a therapist who was offering him unconditional positive regard, despite his flaws. And there was a scene where the therapist had to say and break through that anger. He had to say repetitively, "It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault." And this is what I talk about with the subconscious, that the subconscious has a code, is programmed with a belief code that has been formed through emotional charge, authority, and repetition. And the subconscious, as Bruce Lipton would speak about, is hundreds and hundreds of times more powerful than the consciousness is. So you can't outsmart your subconscious. It's not through logic that you heal. And so what this character in the film needed was a therapist that he could look up to in a way, not in a hierarchy form, but a way where he could project his abandonment and have it met with compassion. So he needed to, our child needs to be reassured in a stern manner, in a very solid manner, that you're not giving up. Because the same way the subconscious was programmed is the same way that you unlock the programming and install a new code. You've got to create the same emotional charge with a different belief repetitively with authority. And this is why I talk about devotion and source. Being able to show up time and time again with your creator, so that you allow yourself to feel the full force of support through your parental actions of self-care. And I kind of want to just leave it there for now and let this do its thing, because it's important that you feel your way through these concepts. And I share insights measurably but powerfully, because they come from here. And I'm a big believer that potency in small measures is the key to manifestation.